They can even pass speaking test. They can even pass listening test. They can even manage with writing. They write some kind of sentences in English and they easily get through. And he took a dig at translation. And translation, you see, you know that. What is translation? So that I profiled the very famous singer, RaJa, and this is carried on the first page. This is the front wrapper of the very famous book, High School English Grammar by RaJa. So you can understand that in many of the schools, the book what spoken English itself. When you are asked to, and you know that if you start reading the first page, the book will not leave you close it. That much interesting is the story. It is about you know that I have given an appropriate picture in the PowerPoint. I like you more than she, or I like you more than her. For definite article the in functional grammar. So when you fail to use the definite article where it has to be used, where you know that a cat is under the throne of a queen. Coimbatore on Monday. The Prime Minister will visit Coimbatore on Monday. The Prime Minister will be visiting Coimbatore on Monday. We should be able to differentiate all the sentences, and I should be very much glad if one of you can stand up and explain these sentences so that we can have it as an interactive session instead of sentences. We say that he won't come until the bell rings. When the bell rings at 9 o'clock, imagine. When the bell rings at 9 o'clock, when the school bell rings at 9 o'clock, who foretells the weather, who predicts the weather, he is called a weather prophet. The weather prophet says it will rain on the 15th of the audible question. How manyth president of the US was Donald Trump? I hope you can understand the mother tongue. The next one. You can follow these patterns. Where in the numerical order of the presidents of the US does Donald Trump come? And this is suggested by J.F. Field, a British language expert. What number president of the US was Donald Trump? It's colloquial British way of translating. In the structure of English sentences, there are certain difficulties to differentiate between true translate and for translating. And you know that. But when you say you have to call these, what is that? The meaning of you have to call these service. Everyone calls me sir, so you also should call me sir. It is a regulation. When a new colleague has joined an office, the colleague comes to the room of the manager, and she asks the manager, how should she? There is a question that no grammar, no functional grammar at all is taught in schools and colleges. Then it is a great pity. Then it is very difficult to think about punctuation. And you see, you know that the misuse of just a comma will mean you a polygamist. Who is a polygamist? A person who marries more than one wife. He is called a polygamist. A misuse of just a comma in your life by can you read it? Or I can read it. I am good at Tamil also. They say, you know that Kadida Yeri Sudayam, Mudral, Kadida Yeri Sadhu, then Madimala area there, Kaichi Padida Yeri Sudayam, Nadipasu Pudayam, and he has wonderful translation skills. He is a bilingual scholar, and he translated this into a beautiful poem, The Flesh of Succulent Fruits, Juice of Fruit-grown sugarcane, Nectar from Flowers, syrup, cow's milk, and tender coconuts. All these are sweet indeed, but the sweeter to me is Tamil. I like it. That's a beautiful translation written by ML. Next is Kaviyogi Shuddhananda Bharati's translation of the beautiful couplet of Tirukural. Leaving ripe fruits the raw he eats, who speaks harsh words when sweet words shoots. And as I told you, the translation is a difficult art. And Kaviyogi Shuddhananda Bharati. Next. Next. Right. These are two great translators of Bible. One is Mr. Sundaraj and the other gentleman, the other elderly man was popularly called TCR, T.C. Ramaswamy, who worked as a sub-editor of, but at the same time it is a difficult one. It is a difficult one even to read. But this novel was translated by T.C. Ramaswamy as Babu Kaid. The next one. Babu Kaid. It is published by Science Academy. Because the challenge in translating this novel, it is due to the variety of expressions from different languages. Serpent and the Rope is not just an English novel. The English novel has plenty of Sanskrit words. It has plenty of French words. It has plenty of other words from other languages. So it was difficult for a person who knows only English and Tamil to translate. But T.C. Ramaswamy did this translation from Kaid. And just for inspiration, I can tell you the next one. This one says, and it is, that it is my obituary. It is my obituary. It is my obituary on the demise of T.C. Ramaswamy. When he passed away in Coimbatore, I wrote a tribute on T.C. Ramaswamy, describing his works, his life and works, popularly called TCR in Coimbatore. That this elderly gentleman, when he was 80, at the time when he was 80 or 82, he was given an assignment by Science Academy to translate the Indian English novel Serpent and the Rope into Babu Kaid. Just go to the previous slide. Before that, this is RaJa Rao's The Serpent and the Rope. It is a novel which contains words from different languages, including French. Next one. And this is the Tamil work rendered by T.C. Ramaswamy. Science Academy publication. Science Academy is the national body of letters. It publishes the work of T.C. Ramaswamy's translation Babu Kaid, and it assigned the work to the elderly man when he was 80 or 82. So when he went through the English book, that he was really amazed. He was really astonished that the book had different foreign words. And that he never knew French of 82. What T.C. Ramaswamy did. And you are all in your 20s or you are all in your teens. T.C. Ramaswamy was 82 years when such an assignment was given for translate Serpent and the Rope into Babu Kaid. What he did was, he joined the basic French-English course in Bharati Vidya Bhavan as a student. When he was 82, he was a student. And who are his classmates? His classmates were all in teens like 17, 18, 19 or in 20s. The only 82-year-old student in the class was T.C. Ramaswamy. Bharati Vidya Bhavan conducts the basic French course. Just for translating certain chapters in the book, he joined as a student. And the examination appeared. T.C. Ramaswamy also appeared for the examination. And what his merit was, he stayed first in the French examination, pushing back all the teenagers. The age of 82. After learning French, he translated the pages that contained the French expressions, and it came out as a book. The next one, please. When he died, that he was the journalist of the yesteryear magazine, yesteryear daily called Navedya. The bus stop is named after the newspaper Navedya at Pyramid. He worked as a sub-editor in the newspaper. When Navedya ceased, I was a student studying second standard. When I studied second standard, I remember the office of Navedya was closed. I have a dim memory of people working in Navedya. At that time, I never thought I would become a journalist working for the DOD. So, I penned a tribute on T.C. Ramaswamy for his beautiful translation of Serpent and the Rope into Tamil as Babu Kaid. And the next one, there is a point of finishing. I have a word. I hope I have given you some interesting, I have shown you some interesting slides. And I would advise you, as an IELTS trainer, I would advise you to listen to as many programs as possible. As many programs, as many daily programs of English as possible. Don't go for auditions. Take a radio. Then I mastered the pronunciation of English. There was no YouTube, there was no WhatsApp, there was no Facebook. Internet was just introduced. That's all. I bought a radio for 200 rupees. A small battery operated radio. And there is a station called BBC, British Broadcasting Corporation. And the clarity would be so poor. But a little better when you tune to the station after 10 p.m. in the night. After 10 p.m., there would be plenty of English programs on the BBC. And I used to keep the radio near my ear, and I used to listen to the conversations by the native people of English, and that was how I mastered pronunciation. And for reading children, I would like you to read outside your language. Read for your delight. Try to crack the meaning behind the sentences. And for writing, I always say to my students, writing is really difficult because thinking is difficult. To become writers, you should be thinkers. To become speakers, you should be listeners. And that's all about listening, reading, speaking, and writing. I thank this wonderful education institution and my dear students for giving me this wonderful opportunity to share my experience or to share my journey with the angel called English for these many years as a trainer as well as a writer. Thanks.